Welcome to our August full moon celebration. I'm Kendra Kobler. I'll be your Moonshot host. As I mentioned, please introduce yourself in the chat. We'd love to hear from you and know where you're joining us from. Quick logistics. Please feel free to choose from speaker or gallery view, and please keep yourself on mute when you're not speaking. And I am going to mute everyone now if you don't mind. Alrighty, and I'm also going to share my screen. Wonderful. So this month's focus is prepare. Preparation feels like the essence of the Wellness Moonshot, a world free of preventable disease. Instead of retroactive curative health measures working to fix or remediate an illness, we're collectively here to strategize and create a more wellness-focused future. Wellness is thinking and acting proactively. It is prevention. It's planning time for self-care and following through. It is anticipating inevitable challenges with flexibility and resilience by preparing for them before we're in over our heads. As I was told by a loved one growing up, there is no substitute for preparedness. Simple yet wise words to live by. Today, we're here to relook at the value of living and leading well and how it prepares and even stabilizes us for the unavoidable ups and downs of life. So before we jump into the exciting agenda we've prepared, I'd like to ask our audience to plan ahead for our exciting upcoming events. Whether you join us virtually or in person, our Chair and CEO, Susie Ellis, is here to tell us more.
Well, thank you, Kendra. And I've prepared 3 things to tell you, but I'm going to let Nancy tell the 3rd thing later in the program, which is very exciting. And it actually has to do with Kendra that we're very excited about. So that will be later. But I did want to say, in terms of preparation, we at the Global Wellness Summit and the Global Wellness Institute, some of you might be new. Those are 2 organizations. The Global Wellness Summit started 15 years ago, and we do a big event every year. This year's event is in Boston, and I see someone from Boston is on the call, and so we're going to be there at the Encore, the beautiful Wynn Encore, and it is going to be taking place at the end of November, and I hope that some of you might be able to join us. It'll be both in person and virtual, and the theme, which I think is very exciting, is the new era of health and wellness, because we're seeing that, you know, this whole medical world and the wellness world are starting to dance better together, and it's important. And so that's going to be a big part of the conversation, and being in that corridor in Boston is a great place. The other event that's taking place, and actually will happen earlier, is from the nonprofit Global Wellness Institute, and that's what the Moonshot is part of also. And that is a symposium. It's a 1-day symposium, and it's going to take place in New York, and it's happening on September 28th, right, Nancy? Yes. 28th, and the night before, 27th, there's going to be a reception, and that is targeted towards wellness, real estate, and communities, because that, under the wellness umbrella, is an area that's actually seen a lot of acceleration during the pandemic and as a result of the pandemic. So that's going very well. It'll also be in person and virtual. That's in New York. So those are the 2 things I wanted to let you know about. And the 3rd thing, Nancy will talk about at the end. Thanks, Kendra.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, Susie. I appreciate it. And I'm very excited for both of those events. So we are kicking off the agenda a little bit differently this month with Lisa Fasulo, often the end cap of our gatherings. Today, Lisa will start us off with energy, clarity, and fun. More broadly, Lisa is here to prepare us for the next evolution of the mind-body connection through freeform dance, and then will lead us in a 3-minute practice of whole body movement. Over to you, Lisa, and I have your slides.
Thank you,
whenever
Kendra.
you're ready.
Perfect. Thank you. I couldn't have said it better myself. So yes, exactly because of that, being prepared can look like energy, a good mood, and when you have those 2 things, you're pretty much ready for whatever's in front of you. So this morning, I'd like to talk to you about what Kendra said, the next evolution, we call it, of the mind-body connection, specifically an area called freeform or ecstatic dance, which is a meditation movement practice throughout time and across cultures where there are no steps to follow, no teacher that you have to follow, and where your way is the right way, you can't get it wrong. It's allowing the music to move you, and it's just a time to let your body take over and your mind go on a break. So we will do that in a minute. What I'd like to show you is also help prepare your wellness and expand your wellness expertise, and showing you the trajectory of how this is a fitness and mental well trend that's well on its way to the mainstream right now. So if you look at the inner arts, which we call yoga and meditation and mindfulness practices, 50 years ago, let's say, in mainstream awareness, I'm talking about, it was really not a thing in the West, in this country and the West. However, yoga, let's take yoga as an example, a physical activity arrived, and it was first a little bit considered strange, esoteric, gosh, it's for hippies. And as it was embraced a little more, it began to create a new conversation. It started a whole new paradigm where people had more permission to talk about spirit or feeling calm or whatever yoga was for them. It sparked curiosity. And again, it generates permission. And so much of wellness is feeling permission to do things. Through that, credibility was established, and it was covered in the media. A lot of research became prevalent, and word of mouth. Oh, the Sunday New York Times says that yoga is important. I'm going to go do it. And because of that, we all know that there's a huge infrastructure right now around yoga and meditation. It's $1 billion plus industry showing no signs of slowing, really known as an integrated wellness practice. There's research, and like I said, $1 billion industry. So now it's definitely a thing in corporations, wellness retreats, schools, everywhere. And that's awesome because it gives a tool for people to connect inward, in a sense, finding themselves, we call it. So then on the next slide, this one shows expressive arts. The other one were inner arts. Freeform dance is one of the expressive arts. And right now over on the left, it's really not a thing in a wellness thing, or really anything in mainstream awareness. It has arrived, it's been around for a while in the West, but it's kind of seen by mainstream, my neighbors kind of thing, it's a form of escape. They're kind of hippies, people that go to festivals. I don't really have any access to that, a lot of people think, and it can be associated with partying and drug use, dancing. So, however, it is creating, present tense, a new conversation and a new paradigm that's very much needed right now. Instead of talking about calmness and spirituality, people are beginning to talk about the need to feel good, to have ways to let go of stress and just connect with each other. So because of those things, it's beginning to be seen in the wellness industry as a movement meditation. And that will, similar to yoga, beginning to be covered by media, saying how important it is to feel good. Research is being done, and certainly word of mouth. Oh, my friend goes to that thing. I thought it was kind of weird, but I went and it was so much fun. And because of that, there will be, and we predict at the Center for Transformative Movement, that it's going to be an even bigger billion-dollar industry than yoga, because freeform dance is something that once we get to do it, and most people don't want to do it, including me when I'm not in the mood, once there are environments where people feel safe, you feel it immediately. So that's an exciting thing, that it's becoming a thing. Over the next 10 years, 5 years, even 3 years, you're going to see that. So it is going to show up in your wellness industry, whatever that is, and it'll be fun to see the impact and how that can be integrated. So what we're going to do now is just do a short practice where we get energy flowing, that you can do this in the morning. And we're doing this just to beats today. You'll see how fun it is, just to, not a song, it's just beats that really get a primal part of us going. And so people might want to turn up their own computer. So let's just start by walking just like you'd walk down the street. Feet are flat. And turn around. That is one way to move, where your feet are just like you're walking. However, one of our tips in our method is that it's called toe to toe, where you press your toe in and you lift your heel up, you land on the other one. All your body shifts. You do it to the other side. You do it. You do it. The whole upper body automatically gets involved. So let's speed it up a little bit. Just a really little distinction, but your feet aren't flat. You can add a little twist, and all of a sudden it gets you around your room in a different way. Twist. Now go back to the flat foot just for a minute to feel the difference. So this is one way, like I said, but when you do the other one, toe to toe, you begin to feel moved instead of you doing the moving. So let's get our arms involved. So one of the areas is above your head, all the things you can do, crossing, open. And if you let your head follow your arms slightly, you'll feel you'll get even to more of a reverie. Okay, another is shoulder level. And feel free to go in a circle, mix it up, and get this kind of thing going. And then hip level, where our arms are just down here. Yep. And then the last place is down, pushing down. This is the one you do when you would want to feel more grounded. Good. Let's just do it anyway. All of those 4 different movements. Let's mix it up. Or all of them at once. You can really get movement with that toe to toe. It just wants to twist and move you. That is really just enough. Let's end by shaking our hands. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Give it your all. 4, 3, 2, and let's hold them in front of our eyes. Feel that energy between your hands and your body. And let's turn your hands toward your eyes. You can close your eyes, bringing your hands till they're about 1 inch from your face. With a deep breath, let's just smooth out the entire front of our body. Beautiful. And that is a way to feel energized, prepared, and lit up.
Thank you,
enjoyed it.
That was so fun.
You're welcome. Great.
That's a good way to kick off, kind of shake off the jitters or whatever you've experienced in the last hour or so. So thank you so much. I'm a believer for sure. We're gonna make the movement happen. So thank you again for joining us.
Thank you, everyone.
Wonderful. So now I have the pleasure of introducing the author of our thoughtful Moonshot articles, Renee Moorfield, who is the CEO of WisdomWorks, a social enterprise that builds well-being driven leaders, brands, and workplaces globally, and she is on the board of the Global Wellness Institute. Renee will speak on this month's focus, Prepare.
Thank you, Kendra, and I also appreciate, Lisa, you having us do that dance. It's easy to, for me at least, it's easy to use patterns that I've always used, but to get out of that box and to be into new patterns feels directly connected to our conversation about prepare. I'm going to keep my message simple because I write the article so that you can read the article and hopefully you get something out of it. But when I was thinking about this last night in preparation for today, I wanted to talk a little bit about the way we used to think as leaders, as wellness leaders, the way we used to think about planning and strategy, planning, strategy and doing 30 years ago was as if we could create a plan and then the world would stay exactly as it is so that we could implement our plans and then we could achieve our goals. That was the old model of leading, that you create good plans and you stick with those plans. Now, what we know is, first off, let me ask, raise of hands, has that model worked for anybody? No, it hasn't worked for any of us, because what we know is we're in a world that is constantly changing. And if there's anything this last 2 years has taught us, is that not only is it changing on every single level, but that is going to continue. So a new way of thinking about our work in the world from a leadership perspective is, yes, skills, strategies, tools for planning are of course still important. That's still an important skill. But investing in what it means to prepare, to be at the ready for all the ups and downs of change, and to see all those ups and downs as opportunities to evolve and grow and learn, is a whole new way of being as a wellness leader. About 20 years ago, I and the team in my company interviewed about 50 executives and futurists and asked them, what are the qualities and skills that are going to be needed for healthier, more conscious and sustainable leadership in 20 years? So now, what are we going to need now? We asked them 20 years ago. And they said many, many, many things. But one of the things they said is, well-being cannot be, our well-being cannot be a focus once the world settles. We can't worry about our health and wellness at some point in the future. It has to be an asset right now. And well-being is one of the things that we can support ourselves and others in making an investment in now, so that we are constantly prepared to adapt and change and evolve. Now, I know I'm speaking to the choir here. I know I have a sense this is what we're all striving to do. And of course, it's a journey. We all find places where we hit our own edges. But I wanted to just remind us how important it is, how important each one of your well-being, your own well-being, and this internal shift from thinking that we have to create our plans perfectly to we create plans and then we learn and we notice what unfolds and we are prepared to adapt and grow and evolve. So that's it for today. I just wanted to make that point, because I think this is a community where we can not only be reminded of that, but we can also reinforce that within each other and support each other. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Renee. It's so important. You're right. Well-being is an investment and it's a journey, and you're always inspiring. I love the article this month. Thank you so much. Wonderful. So I'm excited to welcome special guest Sarah Gravely from the GWI's Workplace Wellbeing Initiative, here to present their group's return to work standards, which were strategically designed to ease the transition back to the office, taking into account the ways the fundamental nature of work has changed. Sarah works with businesses and individuals to create multi-dimensional research-based wellbeing programs. Also joining us from the Workplace Wellbeing Group are the two co-chairs, health educator John Toomey and workplace wellbeing advisor Danielle Poza. Welcome, and over to you, Sarah and team.
Awesome. Thank you so much for letting me be here to share this topic with you. I don't think we could have teed it up more perfectly, Renee, in the sense of what is the top, prepared with the workplace well-being standard of return to work. And I pulled several little tidbits that I want to tie in before I share the standards from Renee's email that went out. So, obviously prepare is demonstrating a leadership of care by exploring how we prioritize employee well-being and wellness. And so in the Moonshot email that went out around prepare, one of the topics was asking the bigger question. And so I have to read this study because I feel like it really highlights kind of the mission that we have gone out to create with the standard. So as a Stanford University sociologist, Marianne Cooper underlines, expecting people to just return to work does not acknowledge the challenges and difficulties employees endured. Employers can't expect employees to just pretend like we didn't live through a social catastrophe, especially as the catastrophe continues to unfold around the world. So a lot of the questions, I'm certain, as people are returning to work, whether they're employees or leaders or managers, is how can we prepare ourselves to reset lives and work, and in doing so, understanding the organization is a facilitator for overall well-being. So Renee, thank you for letting me use that from your email and from your work. But again, it aligns perfectly for our standards. And today I'm speaking on behalf of my committee, John, Danielle, Gloria, Elizabeth, News, and Talia, and we are extremely passionate about workplace well-being. And we have, as an initiative, have really focused on launching a series of workplace well-being standards addressing specific topics that are top of mind for most organizations. So we want to use these standards as a checklist for your organizations, as a place to start the conversation, as a guide. We know that workplace well-being is complex. And these standards have been developed with intention and with the thought that of clarifying the workplace well-being means, and the various elements that contribute to the well workplace. It's different. Every organization is different. So these scopes and these guides and these standards can be adapted to that. So our intention is to release a different standard every quarter. And the first set of standards is return to work. And in addition to these standards, which I'll share in a minute, and I'll prompt Kendra to share that, but we've also just added a list of resources in the document that we find are great suggested reading, studies, and just kind of different topic areas of understanding the specific topic that we're highlighting. So going into a deeper dive of the return to work standards, the purpose of this standard is really to help organizations take a strategic and well thought out approach to the transition of back to work, and understanding that the fundamentals of the nature of work have changed. We can't go back to what was, because what was doesn't work anymore. And while it was an upheaval for us to embrace the remote work in early 2020, there have been really some unanticipated quality of life benefits from the flexibility that came from remote work, and how it's contributed to the employees' well-being. And some of these benefits need to be retained, and whether it's, I think specifically whether it's more time at home with family, or juggling children, or being able to, take that lunch break workout, or, just and commute time, that's a huge added factor to kind of work-life integrity. So it's our intention to, again, for these standards to be a guideline, to be fluid, to be adaptable, to help with the return to work policies and procedures, and how they suit each organization based on their space, their employee needs, their work requirements, their environment, and their bottom line. So Kendra, if you will go ahead and share the screen with the standards, I'll quickly give a preview of what the standard looks like. And then we will have a link for this for everybody to review. But as you can see, we have it highlighted with criteria, the standard, and kind of like additional information. So this is a guide. It's our benchmark to help navigate a way to create a functional and productive culture of well-being within your workplace. Some of the questions, especially if you're an employer or a leader, or how is your company handling the issues of the return to work workplace? How especially now with flexibility being the main focus. How do we move from reactive to proactive? And in our conversation too, and what we're trying to understand and start the conversation with people and organizations is, who do we know that are leading the way in the return to work process, and what can we learn from that? This is a working document. We will continue to adapt and improve upon feedback. We have John's email address. Feel free to email any of us on the committee, but feel free to reach out for feedback or questions or suggestions, that best practices, specific recommendations. Feel free to reach out to us. And we also have in the document a link to our LinkedIn group, and we would love to start a discussion. This is global. We are, as a committee, are spread out across, I think, 4 or 5 different countries. So we are able to add that perspective, but 4 or 5 different countries is not the whole global community. So again, we invite everybody to share their thoughts, their feedback, join the conversation, and we look forward to continuing to share the work that we're doing with these standards. Next quarter's topic will be work-life integrity. So we feel that integrity is a great description versus balance, because it's more of the reciprocity of understanding where people are. And when you walk through the workplace in that office, life doesn't stop at the door. It comes with you. So what does that look like in the workplace moving forward? So thank you so much for letting me share. And that's all I have.
Thank you so much, Sarah, for joining us. Excited for the workplace integrity coming soon. John and Danielle, if you have any final quick comments before we move on with the agenda, I want to acknowledge your participation in this initiative as well. So thank you for joining us, especially you, Sarah, for presenting. And I hope you could see, if you couldn't see the screen share, I know it was a little tiny, perhaps. We also put the link in the chat so you can go directly to the URL.
Is it, do I have time for a quick comment or just
Yes.
a quick follow up on that? Okay.
Please, Danielle.
Ironically, as you guys know, this is my due date for my second child, as I'm due today. So I'm on an exercise ball. So I'm not returning to work. I'm actually the opposite of returning to work right now. But Sarah, that was so great. Thanks for doing that overview. I just wanted to echo the plug on the next set of standards of work-life integrity. As we know, it's like work-life balance has been this term we're hearing all the time. But the intention of that next set of standards is to really like help define what that means and what it means to have like that it's an integrity issue to not be having strict boundaries between work and life. And as we know, with the return to work, those boundaries, now are getting misconstrued yet again. So the whole intention of these standards in general is to like create clarity around a lot of these terms that get thrown around that nobody really knows what they mean at the end of the day, or they're just not broken down in a way that makes them more actionable. So we're excited for that next set to come, and thanks to our whole team and to GWI for helping us showcase this work that we're doing. We really appreciate it. So
well, we appreciate you. Thank you for making it more clear and actionable, because this is so important right now. You're right that the terms are a bit blurry and the boundaries are a bit blurry. So thank you again. It's super helpful, and we're very prepared, more prepared now than ever before. So thanks again. Awesome. So to help prepare us for the always stunning full moon, which is actually this upcoming weekend, I will now introduce Nancy Davis, the Chief Creative Officer and Executive Director of the Global Wellness Institute, who will provide us with a moon moment.
Thank you, Kendra. And first, I want to say a collective mazel tov to Danielle and good luck today. I am your resident source for fun facts about the moon. So I'm very pleased to tell you about the August 2021 full moon, which is known as the sturgeon moon. It's called the sturgeon moon because the giant sturgeons of the Great Lakes were caught mostly during this part of the summer. Sturgeons are unusual creatures, to say the least. They have been traced back around 136 million years. Some call them living fossils. Female sturgeons need 20 years before they start reproducing, and they reproduce only every 4 years, but they live to be nearly 150 years old, so still a lot of offspring. There are 29 species of sturgeon and have evolved in size from about the size of a regular bass fish to something called a monster sturgeon, which is as big as a small automobile. Alas, these sturgeons are quite rare due to overfishing, pollution, and damage to their habitat. So when we look at the full sturgeon moon this month, let's think about the natural resources around us, wherever we are in the world, and pledge to respect and care for this one planet we share. Let's prepare to do what's necessary to take care of the inhabitants on land and in the sea. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nancy. Very moving. Keeps us grounded and inspired as always. So beautiful, so poetic. Great. So now we are going to move on to the interactive Q&A portion of the Moonshot celebration, which is always so fun to hear from our audience. So I'll be presenting a question on the screen, and we'd like for you to reply with a response in the chat box. So one moment while I get my share screen up. Great. So first up is, what tends to be the biggest obstacle when it comes to thorough preparation? Is it time? Is it energy, uncertainty, denial? Why might we shy away from planning ahead? Procrastination. Oh, perfectionism. That's an evil one, isn't it? Permission to take time. Yes, I can relate to that. Distraction, scared. Oh, these are such good answers. Overwhelm, speed of life. Similar to the speed of light. It's so fast. Lack of inspiration. Well, hopefully you can find some here today. Procrastination. Yes. These are great answers. All right, I'm going to keep it going to the next one. How do we leave space for flexibility, creativity, and spontaneity when planning ahead? How do we strike the right balance between structure and surprise? It's tough to not be too rigid. Ooh, build in the high moments in our calendars. Prepare, yes, Ranga. Prioritizing focus time, flexibility, white space. Ooh, I like that. Was that Tavia? Great. Take daily walks, be intentional. These are such great answers. I'm feeling very inspired. And we're going to get to hear from you vocally too, so it's not just me recapping the chat. Okay, next question. Oh, sorry. Have you prepared a go-to mantra that helps you lead well in tough times? This question was inspired by Renee's article. Do you have a saying that helps you lead well when challenges occur? This is a self-coaching strategy that helps us maintain positive views of ourselves and our competence to influence a healthier future. Keep going. I am strong, I am magnificent. Simplify, that's a good one. I am enough. Let go, let flow. Maybe we should make GWI fortune cookies. I think this could be, it could be a hit. I say ta-da. Ooh, so good. I am the prize. Just breathe. We're going to breathe a little bit later, so that's a good segue. Okay. So now I'll present one last question to the whole group, and we'll have a few people share with everyone. Please raise your hand and unmute yourself, and please be brief so more can participate. So the last question is, drum roll. What is an unconventional tool or strategy you use for preparation and forward thinking? So I'll leave it up for just one more second, then I'm going to stop sharing the screen so I can see all of your beautiful faces. And please raise your hand if you would like to participate. So just one more time, I will say the question: what is an unconventional tool or strategy you use for preparation and forward thinking? Does anyone want to share first? I'm going to look through the various, I know there's a lot of people on the call, so. Anyone? Oh, Liza, please.
Hi there. If I just write down the action of taking a pen and writing it on a piece of paper, I know that my brain starts working on it subconsciously through the night and through the next day when I'm not even thinking. It's like a computer working. So I've gotten into that habit of just taking down a couple notes, knowing my brain will work it out.
Awesome. Notes are good. Great. Lisa.
I'm kind of a one-trick pony, so I shake my hands or somehow get into, even a minute of energy, and I just reset myself. And then I say to myself, the thoughts, words, people, and circumstances are coming to me exactly when I'm ready for them. So it always just kind of chills me out and says, yep. And every time that happens, it's kind of like a bank account where it's like, yeah, that does happen. So.
That's very positive. Joyce, I saw you had your hand up.
Yes, one thing I do that really helps me is I do intuitive painting. And so right before I'm working on something that I really want to stretch out and move out and use my imagination, I paint for maybe 30 minutes and just sort of let go. It helps tremendously.
Oh, so creative, so soothing. Ranga.
Yes, a brief nugget, something that I have experienced and learned since my childhood days is when you train the body, prepare the mind. And when you train the mind, prepare the body. And a perfect example of something like this in discord, in disharmony, is the famous US gymnast Simone. She trained her body, but did not prepare her mind. So this body-mind combination that Lisa also explained so well is something that we learn in our schooling, in our spiritual training, and that is what I would love to share with you.
Very wise, thank you, Ranga. Very holistic, kind of like the free-form movement, the mind-body connection. Can't forget about that.
Totally.
Somebody else? Oh, John. Please unmute.
Yes, I'll use a tool I've used for a long time. It's we call it a viewpoints walk. And it's a wonderful way of freeing up attention and getting my attention to flow. And with the viewpoints walk, you actually go out for a 30-minute walk and periodically notice something big and notice something small. Notice something close and notice something far away. And can you continue to deliberately do that? And eventually attention starts to flow, perspective broadens wide out, and then the intuitive flow begins and everything flows from there. It's a really beautiful exercise.
Great walking meditation, the best. Thank you. Someone else? There's also the raise the hand function through Zoom. So if I don't see you, oh, I see Jackie. Jackie? Great. Okay, cool.
So I love to create a change of space. So whether it's once a month, once a quarter, whatever that looks like, plan a day, an afternoon, and if it's working from a friend's, from a hotel lobby, just that change of space can create inspiration.
So true, that newness. And that's something we didn't get a lot of during the pandemic, which I think influenced some languishing, but it's good that we're kind of getting out more. It's definitely helping the mental wellness. Someone else, we still have 5 more minutes to share, so maybe I asked you to be too brief. You can be a little bit more, descriptive if you like. I've built in some time for this. Anybody else? No? Oh, Valeria? Are you there? I see your raise the hand function. No? Oh, misleading. That's okay. Does anybody want to share their mantra, talk more about their mantra, other methods for preparation? This is meant to be open dialogue. I wanted to give us an opportunity to brainstorm collectively.
Kendra, in the chat, I think it was Valeria who said quantum jumping. So I'd love to hear from her if she's still there about what quantum jumping is. But maybe she's not on it.
She says something's wrong with her mic.
Oh, okay.
Oh, bummer. But maybe next time we'll learn about quantum jumping. Little teaser. Little teaser. Oh, everyone's giving unmuting advice. They're prepared. Wonderful. Okay. We could move on. I just don't want to end.
I'd like to, this is a perfect moment in the conversation to say that as Susie and I prepare for the future of both the Global Wellness Summit and Global Wellness Institute, it is our collective pleasure to let this family know that Kendra is now joined the organization's full-time as the Director of Programs and Operations. She is, as you all know, smart, creative, organized, always prepared, and a whole lot of fun. And we could not be more thrilled, and now we feel better prepared for what lies ahead. So congratulations, Kendra.
Thank you so much. It's so fun to see all the animation on the screen. So thank you. I'm very excited to join the team. It's definitely upping the ante, and I'm excited to rise to the challenge and go to the symposium and summit and continue these moonshot conversations. So wellness is just something I'm so passionate about. So it just feels such a wonderful opportunity, and it's great working with Susie and Nancy and the whole team. I know Amy and Michelle are on the call too, and all of you, you've reached out, and it's been wonderful. But enough about me. Thank you. Now, I was hoping to announce the winner of the August Moonshot Challenge, but I am not certain that she has joined the call. Shireen, are you on? Amy, I know is her nickname. Are you on the call? I tried to email you in the meantime, but anyway, she there? I'll give her a moment to reply. Well, I just wanted to announce that she's the winner of the challenge this month because she is the director of Mindset Fitness. She's based in Thailand, but recently relocated to the States, to Oregon, to travel solo. She is a wellness leader through example with the intention of inspiring others. She also believes in the importance of preparation and consistency, relying on the accumulation of varying wellness experiences, which lead to greater outcomes. I was hoping we'd hear more a little bit about herself, her travels, and her work, but unfortunately, I don't think she joined us today, so perhaps next time, but very exciting. Congratulations to Shireen. And now I'd like to ask our audience to plan ahead and save the date for our next celebration on Monday, September 20th at 10 a.m. The focus is learn. And speaking of learn, we are approaching the start of a new school year, and our children's Moonshot calendars are in production and our website is live. I will send the link in the chat momentarily. And I also would like to do a little unboxing of the children's Moonshot calendar so we could see how beautiful it really is. So I feel a little bit like a social media influencer. So apologies if I'm being a little indulgent, but it just looks so good. So the children's Moonshot comes with instructions and how to implement them in classrooms. And each month has a theme very similar to our Wellness Moonshot. It is just so cute. Eat healthy, show love, a little bit more direct with its calls to action. Be creative, but just wanted to show a little sneak peek of this adorable children's Moonshot calendar. And please reach out if you have any contacts in elementary schools from pre-K to second grade, as we're interested in placing calendars and spearheading a new wellness movement for students to adapt healthy habits at a young age. And I might even have a moment to share the website if we are interested in taking a look at the mission overall.
I used to work with children, and a nice thing might be to get teenagers involved in doing that, you know, engage them. They need something to do, and it would help them step into leadership. So I'm happy to talk to you about that.
That's great, Lisa. Maybe we should expand the age range, because you're right, it could really apply to all ages. So I'll just scroll down and you can download the digital version. So we're trying to encourage, you know, coloring. You can do printouts, and kids can decorate them with their themes. And you can see the themes here: eat healthy, show love, be creative, breathe deeply, move joyfully, smile proudly, explore nature, dream big, be curious, have fun, show kindness, and be yourself. So yes, I'll send the URL in the chat so you can peruse. We're also looking for sponsors or donations that help fund these calendars to get into the classroom. So if you know someone who's particularly passionate about wellness education, we would love to have a conversation. All right, I will stop sharing.
And I have a little fantasy that on the next Wellness Moonshot full moon celebration, we bring children to the call. So, you know, if anybody has, I'm going to try to get my grandchildren, but if anybody has children or grandchildren they want to bring to that celebration, I think it might be a really wonderful additional layer of interest and excitement and wellness.
Amazing. Yes, please bring children. That would be great. And I'm already getting some interest in the chat, which is very exciting. So we're hoping to place these at the beginning of the new school year. So we might end a little bit early today, which is okay. You get a little bit time back. But last but not least, we'd like to thank you for joining us. And before we depart, we'd like to leave you feeling centered, focused, and empowered. So we're going to take 3 deep mindful breaths together. I've borrowed some best practices from breathwork expert Sandy Abrams, who was on the call, but unfortunately had to leave a bit early because she is leading a breathing workshop naturally. So please make sure you're seated straight, tall, and comfortably with your feet flat on the floor. Roll your shoulders back. Place your hands on your lap, your heart, or your belly. Gently close your eyes. And let's begin inhaling through your nose, and you can exhale through your nose or mouth, whichever is more comfortable. Ready? Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Again, inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And last, inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We hope you feel prepared to take on your next challenge, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Feel free to unmute and say goodbye.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you,
Have a
great
Kendra.
day.
Thank you.
Congratulations,
Thank you.
Kendra.
It was terrific.
Thank you.
Again, yes. Congratulations.
Congratulations.